But do you get the light? The one on the right. Yeah. Okay. So really all we're doing today is more multiplication, but they're considered special products. I mean, what does the word product mean? It's the result of multiplication, basically, right? So that's all we're doing. These are the three special products, right? Oops. These are the three special products, right? When you have a binomial squared, right? Or you've got a binomial, well, that's a sum. This is a difference squared. Or you could have a plus b times a minus b. Those are the three that they're considering special products. Now remember, when we did properties of exponents, if we saw a 2 on the outside of the parentheses, we always thought, oh, I'm going to distribute that. But you cannot distribute it in this situation because of the plus or a minus, right? It does not work to just move that inside a squared plus b squared. So you got to be aware of that and careful about that. So notice, if I was going to FOIL this, right? I mean, what does it mean to square something? Times it times itself, right? So if I do that, right, then this one here is a plus b, and that's a FOIL, right? We know that that's a FOIL now. So when you FOIL, right, you multiply the first terms. A times a is a squared. Then you multiply the outer terms, a times b, and the inner terms, b times a. What's the difference between a, b, and ba? Nothing. Yeah. So you would get a squared plus ab plus another ab plus b squared. So this formula, which you could think of a formula, it's the a squared and the b squared, which we can all see that's where that's going to come from. And then it's twice what you would call the inner product, right? The inner product is this number times this number. So it's a squared plus b squared plus 2 times ab, right? Look at this one here. A squared plus b squared plus 2 times a times negative b is minus 2ab, right? I mean, look at it as a FOIL, would it look like this? A minus b and a minus b, right? So what do you get when you multiply a times a? A squared. What do you get when you do negative b times negative b? Positive b squared. Okay, now we do the O and the I. A times negative b is negative ab. How about negative b times positive a? Negative ab. So it's twice the inner product. So anytime you've got a binomial squared, right, it's the first term squared and the last term squared and 2 times the inner product. This is the outer, that's the inner. Okay, now look at this one, it's different. What would we get if we FOILed this one, Connor? What order to do what? Most of the time, that first one, A, that's got a variable in it, and then that one does not. So actually, I mean, when you've multiplied it all out, then put it in standard form. It will probably be, x squared here, x to the first here, and a constant there. We'll do a couple examples, and you'll see. It's a good question. Okay, now let's see what happens if I FOIL this one. What do I get in the first term? A times A is A squared. How about the B times negative B? Minus B squared. Okay, now we'll look at the O and the I, right? The outer is A times negative B. The inner is B times A positive. So this is negative AB and this is positive AB. What do you get when you add them up? 0. They cancel each other out. That's why you don't see anything in the middle. I mean, just if you FOIL it, right, the first terms are A squared. The next term is A times negative B. That was wrong. Okay, the next is b times a, which is plus ab. And then the last is b times b, which is minus c squared. Right? These two cancel. And that's why you just get a squared minus b squared. Now, just a second. Yes, just going. Yes, yes. Julian, Mr. Lupton. So, you know, the reason we look at these now, yeah. Because what's the difference between AB and BA? Nothing. That's why, in the end, Sid, what was your question? Hey, quiet, please. Quiet. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Maybe it'll help you remember this. I mean, we learned of these special products because after we get done with all this adding and subtracting and multiplying, then we do the opposite of this, which is called factoring. And if we could recognize these in a backwards direction, it's actually helpful. So that's why they put this in where they put it in. Okay. So let's do this one. X plus 5 squared. By the formula, right? I'm not just foiling it now. I'm using the formula. So what is it? What is it in my problem here that is the A? X, right? And what is it that's the B? The 5, right? So in this formula, everywhere you see an A, put an X. Everywhere you see a B, put a 5. Right? So it'll be X squared plus 2 times X times 5 plus 5 squared, right? Which is X squared. How can I simplify 2X times 5? It's 10X. And how about 5 squared? 25. So again, it's the first term squared plus the second term squared plus twice the inner product, 2 times X times 5. Okay? Without actually having to like write it like a foil. You know, you should go directly to that. Yeah. Well, there's a 2 in the formula. A is X and B is 5. Right? A is X, B is 5. But there's a 2 in the formula. That's why you got a 2 there. Okay, try this one. This will be your you try. I'm going to skip over. Just go ahead and do the you try right there. Okay. So again, by the formula, right, it should be the first term squared, right? It should be the last term squared. And then what is the middle? It's 2 times the inner product, 2x times 1. Right? The formula's got a 2 in it, and then the 2x and the 1. So the first term squared plus the last term squared plus 2 times 2x times 1. Yeah. 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 So now we can simplify that, right? What's 2x in parentheses squared? 4x squared, right? Now you're using properties of exponents, right? That's 4x squared. And what's 2 times 2x times 1? 4x. And what's 1 squared? 1. That's what we should have gotten. Right? The first term squared plus the last term squared plus 2 times the inner product. In fact, let's do this. Try that one. First term. What's the first term? Okay, so it should be 9m squared, right? What's the next? 6mn, then plus n squared, right? So it should be the first term, 3m squared, plus 2 times the inner product of 3m times n, plus the last term squared. And then that simplifies to that. But this is your question before, which is, okay, now, it looks like we've got 2 variables. So what's standard form when you've got 2 variables, right? Because that's a squared and that's a squared. And in that case, it really wouldn't work. In fact, the truth is you would say the degree of all 3 of these terms is 2. This one because of 1 plus 1. But most of the time, if we're dealing with like functions, then it's just going to be y equals some expression that only has x in it anyway. So it would never be like this. Okay. Edward. No. Okay. So that's the first special product. Okay, next, right? It's going to be a minus b squared should be a squared minus 2 times the inner product plus b squared. So in this problem here, which is the a and which is the b? A is 2x, b is negative 3. So if you could just replace, actually, yeah, b is actually 3. It's not negative 3 because the minus is part of the formula. B is 3. So let's see. The a, this is the a, and this is the b. So we're going to say that's 2x squared minus 2 times 2x times 3, not negative 3, times 3, and then plus 3 squared. Okay, now what's 2x in parentheses squared? 4x squared. Okay, what's 2 times 2x times 3? 2 times 2 times 3. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12x. And then 3 squared is 9. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, what's the first term going to be? 5x in parentheses squared minus, there's a minus in the formula, 2 times 5x times 2y, that's the inner product, plus 2y squared, right? That's the a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, what's 5x in parentheses squared? 25x squared. Okay, what's 2 times 5 times 2? So it's minus 20. What variables are in that? X and a y. And 2y in parentheses squared. Plus 4y squared. Sorry. Okay. We're good. So here's your you try. Try that one. Give me a final answer here. What's the Callie? 16x squared minus 8 xy. There's one more. Plus y squared, right? It's the, remember, it's the first term squared plus the last term squared plus twice the inner product. Okay, one more. You okay, John? Okay. So this is the last of the special products. What do you get when you multiply, A plus B times A minus B, right? It's not something you can say like parentheses squared, because they're not the same thing, right? But the pattern is like, if you got an A plus B times A minus B, that's A squared minus B squared. Okay, well, let's see. In our problem here, what is it that represents A and what is it that represents B? Right? Which is the A? Yeah, so A equals X and B equals 3, right? And so what, by that formula, what should be this product? X squared minus 3 squared, which is X squared minus 9. Right? Just following the formula there. Right? It should be whatever the first thing is squared minus whatever the second thing is squared. Done. In a way, yeah. Like I said, they're more important when we go backwards to what we're going to call factoring later on. And the truth is, like on any of this stuff, I mean, if you know how to FOIL, I mean, you could just think of it like a foiling problem and not even worry about a formula for it, right? But it's the kind of thing, if you kind of recognize the pattern, you're making it easier on yourself for many different reasons later. I mean, like I said, if I FOILed this, I would get the first, X times X is X squared. There's that. X times negative 3 is negative 3X. 3 times X is positive 3X. Cancel each other out. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. So, I mean, you get to the same place if you just do the FOIL carefully, right? Okay, one more. So help me do this one. Right? What is it that's going to be the A in this problem? A is the 3X. B is the Y. So by the formula, what should this be? 3X in parentheses squared minus Y squared. It's 1 squared minus the other squared. Okay, now simplify. Yeah, remember to distribute. 9X, that was a terrible. So this is 9X squared minus Y squared. Good. Okay, so here's your last few try. What is it that's the A? A is the 2X, and what is it that's the B? 1. So this thing should be 2X squared minus 1 squared, which is 4X squared minus 1. What do you think? Easy, hard? Good. When we get to the factoring, then it should be even easier because we did this. So that's that. So there's the homework. Now, we don't have enough time to do a quiz. We will start tomorrow with that quiz. Okay? No, this stuff is not on the quiz. So you should work on this. You can get this stuff done. It's 11 problems. You can get it done before you leave. You already left once. Yeah. Insignificant.